Welcome everyone. Flexibility is not required for yoga. What's become clear through years of practice and completing my 500-hour yoga teacher certification is that consistency is foundational for a yoga practice. Consistency isn't about practicing every day. It's about building relationship with your practice and your journey, which may look different from person to person. Regardless of what your consistency looks like, if it's chair yoga or slower paced practices like restorative or yin, that's great. If it's a mix of high intensity vinyasa style classes and slower paced classes, that's great too. And whichever way you return to your mat, the consistency is what matters most. Nowadays, there are many styles of yoga available out there. Finding the style that resonates with you and keeps you coming back to the mat is important. The simplest and most straightforward way is to try different styles of yoga and see how you feel afterwards, and notice how your breath and body feels. Reading and learning about different styles is useful and supportive, but that experience of practicing different styles, then noticing how it feels in your body, will guide you to what works best for you at that time. Everyone's experience is different, and their consistency may look different from yours. If you're looking for a more gentle and slower paced style of yoga, restorative or yin may be a great place to start. If you feel you're needing something more energetic, a vinyasa style, hatha, or even heated yoga might be what works best for you. I was able to build my consistency with beginner yoga videos on YouTube and vinyasa style classes. After building consistency, I eventually incorporated slower paced classes like yin. Again, consistency will differ from person to person. Alongside the many yoga styles, find the yoga teacher that resonates with you to support building that consistency. Maybe it's the cues, pacing, or tone the teacher uses that makes your yoga practice feel meaningful. Maybe you feel safe and supported every time you step onto your mat with that teacher. Those are good signs and can be a strong foundation for consistency. Maybe you find several different yoga teachers that resonate with you. That's great too, and another great opportunity to build consistency. Regardless if that's online or in-person yoga classes, if you haven't had any luck with online yoga videos or teachers, I'd recommend trying a yoga studio in your local area. Your local yoga studio is very likely to have beginner classes and a great yoga teacher guiding those classes. That yoga teacher will also likely have a weekly schedule, so you can continue to build consistency with them. If you haven't started yoga but are interested in checking it out, I recommend getting a yoga mat. It doesn't have to be the best quality in the world, but simply finding one that works for you to get started. Once you've picked up a yoga mat and started building consistency, you might look into higher quality mats to deepen your practice. I have a YouTube short discussing the different styles of yoga mats, including using a yoga towel for support. Whichever way you practice, finding a yoga mat that works for you and feels supportive is great for consistency. When you build that consistent yoga practice, you build familiarity and trust in your body. You bring more awareness to your breath and how your body feels. And you may notice you may recover more quickly from stress because you know how to return to your breath. You begin to discern when to soften and when to lean in. Furthermore, you bring more awareness to how and when your emotional and mental states begin to shift. You begin to notice the subtle changes, including feeling more patient with yourself and recognizing when you need to pause instead of push. You may also find all these things are supportive of your overall well-being, that they provide more balance to your life, that these things support you both on and off your mat in your day-to-day life. Since becoming a yoga teacher, I've heard many versions of the same concern. I'm not flexible enough for yoga. Flexibility isn't a prerequisite, and we'll explore more in an upcoming video. What truly supports your yoga practice and journey is consistency, not flexibility. To add, with a consistent practice, flexibility may develop over time as a natural byproduct of the work, but again, it's not required to begin. The common myth about flexibility being required to start yoga is still lingering. Ultimately, consistency matters more than flexibility for your yoga practice. Building that consistency may take time, but practicing patience and noticing the subtle changes along the way will continue to reinforce your yoga practice and your yoga journey. Whichever way you practice yoga, working towards building that consistency is great for your yoga practice and journey. Thanks y'all for spending a few moments learning more about consistency with a yoga practice. Take care.